Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
It is I, and it is Thursday, and it is the last public broadcast of Student of the Gun for the week. And we're going to make it a good one. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to talk about self-defense today, and whether or not if you shoot someone in self-defense, it quote, denies them justice. Ooh, am I going to be able to keep it together today? Let's find out. Tune in. We also have a Student of the Gun homeroom brought to you by Crossbreed Holsters. We're going to talk about sharp-edged weapons, cutty things, yeah. But before we do that, we're going to do introduction and talk, because that's what my show notes say. My show notes say that I'm supposed to do introduction and talk. Jared, is that correct? Is that what I'm supposed to do?
I guess so.
Yes, introduction and talk. And is there a part in there for me to drink water?
You can drink some water if you want.
Oh, okay.
Since I assume that once you get going on this topic, you're just going to go.
Yeah, actually, the way that the notes are set up, I'm going to very deliberately address our sponsors in the very beginning, because once I dig into this story, it's going to be kind of hard for me to just pop back out. Now, it is a family-friendly broadcast. We have a family-friendly rating on iTunes, which means you can listen to Student of the Gun Monday through Thursday in your car with your kids. Now, all of you new grad program members, especially if you just signed up and haven't gotten a grad program yet, well, actually, that's not true. If you sign up, like the moment you sign up, you get access. Is that not correct, Jared?
Yeah, you get all of them.
Okay. But I know some people sign up and then they wait until Friday for the new one to come up. But Friday is the big boy, big girl hour. Now, we don't use adult language for no reason. We use it when it's appropriate, because some stories, some matters and topics that we have to deal with, well, we're all big boys and big girls here, and sometimes that language is appropriate. Now, it may not be appropriate for 4 or 5-year-olds. Or 8 or 9 or 10-year-olds or whatever, but you have been warned. And that is what is one of the, that's what's unique about the bonus hour, because it's serious topics for serious people, right? Yes, that is correct. Oh, pause for a deep breath and begin. All right. Brownells, why? Well, because Brownells has pretty much everything you would need if you have a gun, if you're thinking about buying a gun. Even if you don't have a gun, you go to brownells.com and they've got something for you. I feel pretty strongly that the vast majority, well, no, that's not true. I was going to say the majority of my audience has guns, but I forgot that we have people listening to us in Europe and Canada and all over the world, so where they're denied the individual liberty to possess such tools. I thought you were going to concur.
I do, but I was just digging a little bit into this story, and I can't make it past the second paragraph.
It's hurting your brain, isn't it?
Yep.
I want you to know that this is going to be this is how brave and bold a host you have, is to dig into this, to actually address it without breaking things. But yeah, I'm going to do it.
The first sentence of the second paragraph is exactly the point where I stopped listening to this dude.
Mm-hmm. Well, come on, let's go ahead and thank people. Yeah. We've got black carbon steel microphones here that need to be paid for. The black carbon steel microphones aren't free, and neither are pop filters, and neither is the electricity to make this happen. So, Frog Lube, green, minty, fresh. It is a bio-based firearms lubricant, and what does that mean exactly? A lot of you guys are like, what does bio-based mean? What up? It's not petroleum. Your whole life, you've been putting petroleum-based products on your guns, whether it was Rem oil or Hoppies or CLP or whatever your favorite flavor of whatever was. It's essentially petroleum-based, and when your gun gets super hot, especially a semi-automatic or a fully automatic gun, it burns off, and you just need to put more on because it's gone, right? Well, a bio-based, and there are certain solvents and cleaning products that will harm your electronics, they will harm your optics, and they can harm your ammunition if you should get them on your ammunition. And, I mean, it's not that they're bad, but you need to understand that. And when you use Frog Lube products, you can be assured that the Frog Lube is not going to harm your ammunition, optics, or electronics, or your barrel. So there you go.
So I could Frog Lube my mixing board?
You could, well, I don't know. I don't know if you'd want to Frog Lube your mixing board or not. You can do whatever you think your career can handle.
I did get a new mixing board here, and I can make Professor Paul sound like he is giving a sermon.
Ah, yes, you could do that. We could do that, Frog Lube. You're okay. Oh, kids today. Kids with mixing boards. So check them out at froglube.com, or you can purchase Frog Lube products at Brownells. Century Arms, the sweetest smelling arms maker in the U.S. of A. Now, one thing I've been remiss to do, and I might do it very, very soon, is to take our Century Arms 100% made in the USA AKs out and hammer them on our new ranges. And you're like, yeah, why haven't you done that, Paul? Well, I got a lot of guns, and I got a lot of things to do with guns. And quite frankly, it's been a long time since I've been able to put rounds past a couple of 100 yards. You know, the range that we had in the Mississippi Combat Training Academy down there, if you're still on the Gulf Coast, they have a 200-yard rifle range, which is fantastic. But that's a chip shot for a precision bolt-action gun. 200 yards is like just getting warmed up. And I've been really enjoying myself shooting out to 200, 300, 400, 500 yards, even out to 1,000 yards. So haven't spent a whole lot of time with the Go Fast guns here lately, but that's going to change soon. If you'd like to have a 100% made in the USA AK, you can get one from Century Arms or one of the TP9 pistols. I'm telling you, I testify, the Elite, the TP9 SF Elite, if you find one on the shelf of your local dealer and you've been thinking about it, whip out your card and buy it, because when you come back tomorrow, it's probably going to be gone, because everyone in the nation is getting hip to the fact that these guns not only are lightweight, concealable, but they run like tanks, and they shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot, and they have good triggers and good sights, and the price is right. I'm telling you, that was your warning right there. Duracoat, why? Because life is too short to have an ugly gun. You can do it yourself in your own shop. You can do it in your garage, in your workshop. You can do it out back behind the house. I don't care where you do it. Just do it. Duracoat. And you can get Duracoat products from LauerWeaponry.com. You can go there and you get yourself some slightly darker black, or you can pop over to Brownells, and while you're ordering everything else you want, you can get Duracoat products. Now, last in the hit parade is SWAT Fuel. And we were remiss yesterday. We didn't give them the promo code. And I know we'd like to believe that everybody already has the promo code memorized. But every once in a while, somebody will show up that's new, and they're like, how come you didn't tell me what the promo code is? Well, I told you 857,000 times before, but I'll tell you one more time. If you want to have a sharper mind and a stronger body, and you'd like a little bit of help with that, go to SWATfuelstore.com, use the promo code SOTG2015. Put that in when you check out, and you're going to save yourself some money.
Remember when you ran away and I got on my knees and begged you not to leave because I'd go berserk?
Well,
you left me anyhow, and then the days got worse and worse, and now you see I've gone completely out of my mind! Ha ha! They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha. To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time, and I'll be happy to see those nice young men in their clean white coats, and they're coming to take me away, ha-ha.
All right, freaks and freakettes, if for some crazy, strange, bizarre reason you've never heard that before, that was Napoleon the 14th, and that was a Looney Tune, and they're coming to take me away. That is our Lunatic Nation theme song. Whenever we encounter a story that is so insane that it warrants such, we use the Lunatic Nation theme song. And this story that I'm about to share with you is more proof of the dangers of modern education. Yes, I didn't say the benefits of modern education. No. I said this is proof of the dangers of modern education before we get into this op-ed piece that would be an opinion editorial from Justin Kermy. Justin Kermy writes for the HuffPost.com. That's Huffington Post. And
they're so huffing excited.
Huffing and puffing and blowing your house down. So let's go ahead and I'm going to scroll over. I'm going to put the little mouse on Justin Kermy's face. I'm going to click it, and it should give me his bona fides. This tells me just why should I listen to one single word that Justin Kermy of the HuffPost has to say?
Well, we've read stuff from this dude before.
Okay, well, Justin Kermy is a graduate from Baruch College in Manhattan, New York. All right, he went to school in New York City. Not a resume enhancement, in my opinion. He received a bachelor's degree in philosophy and political science. His college career was a battle due to personal battles. I wonder who wrote this, because they used battles twice in the same sentence. It was a battle due to personal battles with dyslexia. These battles, that's 3 times. Apparently, Justin doesn't own a thesaurus. These battles have forced him to learn how to teach himself difficult subject matters through anguish and painful moments. Do you think people in Africa who are like in their village and the rival tribe come in and starts like hacking their arms off and stuff, you think, this poor Justin and his battles in life. You're like, oh, come on, Paul, that's not fair. Has overcome major hurdles that dyslexia presented him. Now he's looking towards unorthodox thoughts and methods to analyze political matters. I have no idea how any of that. Okay, so I'm sorry that you had dyslexia. Oh, come on, Paul. Explain to me how this person is an expert in political science and commentary, and why I should give 1 ounce of excrement. Why I should give any give an excrement about what this person has to say. How does any of that make him an expert in the field of political science and opinion? I'm not sure.
Well, it's because he writes for the Huffington Post.
Well,
don't you know
essentially what I saw is that was part, you know what that is, Jared? That is his bona fides to be a member of the victim culture. Because in the United States of America today, no one can just achieve. Everyone is a victim of something. No, what you have to do is you have to look at your life and examine your life, and maybe you weren't blessed with an obvious handicap, but you have to find something that makes you a victim. And then because you were a victim, people have to listen to what you say. They have to give credibility to what you say.
I'm a victim.
Oh, are you a victim?
Yep. You want to know why?
I'm afraid to say yes.
I'm a victim of stupidity, because the stupidity exists around me, and I have to deal with it on a daily basis. Therefore, I am a victim.
Okay. Well, here's what, and this story's been shared with us multiple times because it was picked up and shared on social media and all that nonsense. It's a story that was published on 4/26/2016. 2016, okay, which is 1 year ago. Now, why are we talking about it today? The reason that we're talking about it today is this, because
it was updated 5 days ago.
Yeah, because it was updated 5 days ago. The original, see what he started a series called A Revision of the Bill of Rights. He did a part 1, he did a part 2, and he did a part 3. So this little wet behind the ears turd, who's bare, I have combat boots that are older than this crap bag. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm being mean and I'm being unfair to Justin and the entire editorial staff at the Huffington Post that reviewed this story and saw fit to publish it. All right, let's go ahead and begin, see if our brains can handle this. Everyone have the Gorilla Tape? Because I don't think the standard gray duct tape that you get from, your favorite local store, Walmart or whatever, probably is not going to keep your head from coming apart. The Gorilla Tape is going to be what you're going to need. A well-regulated militia being necessary to secure a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay, that is a direct quote from the Bill of Rights. That is Amendment 2. Okay. The Second Amendment is highly contested. No, Justin, the Second Amendment is not highly contested. The only people who don't understand it are those who don't agree with it because they are socialists. And only socialists and totalitarians, the only people that have a problem with an armed populace are tyrants and slaves, comfortable slaves who wish to work for the tyrants. Let's go ahead and set that right up right now. Sentence number 2. There is no doubt that people do have the right to carry and have a stockpile of guns. That's not a pejorative right there. And a state has the right to organize a well-regulated militia. All right, Justin, I know you went to college, but you didn't learn excrement there. A well-regulated militia is not organized by the state. What? But it is. But it means the National Guard. No, moron. It does not mean the National Guard. A militia is a group or organization that is formed and put together by members of the community without governmental oversight. That's not true at all.
See, he reads this, and the word state to him means like Illinois.
It means the government, the ruling class, the National Guard of the Ohio, because that's the militia. No, it's not. And you know how I know this is a fact? Because I know how to read. Yes. And I know how to read and study about things that happened before I was born, unlike most millennials and humans today who don't believe that anything that happened before the date of their birth has any bearing on their future or history or what have you. So here's the thing. The militia, also known as the training band, was a foundation in the colonies in the New World long before the National Guard. People say, well, the Second Amendment was written to assure that the states have the right to form a National Guard, and the National Guard is white. And then you say to them, wow, really? Because in 1781, explain to me the history of the National Guard in 1781. They're like, all right, well, and after, no, okay, let's go back to 1775. Who organized the National Guard of Massachusetts, of the Massachusetts colony? Oh, there wasn't one. So how does the Second Amendment only apply to the National Guard? And we get this argument all the time. The Second Amendment has nothing to do with individual people owning assault rifles. It's about the Ohio National Guard. No, it's not. You moron. Okay. And the militia is not well-regulated means well-educated and actually having an ability to use your tools. Well-regulated means to be skillful. Okay. It doesn't mean to be controlled, but whatever. But the main issue is on the right to self-defend with a firearm. Okay, let's go ahead, Justin. Go ahead and school me on that, Justin. All right, but the fact that his name is Justin, actually, if he wants more credibility, he's going to have to change his name. I'm sorry, because that's just the way it is. And if your name is Justin out there, I apologize. But every millennial mom in the early 2000s and late 90s named their child Justin. And I don't know why that is. Do you know that, Jared?
No, I don't know.
You probably know a lot of Justins, don't you?
I'm not a millennial, so
yeah. So
because my name's not Justin.
I know that we calm down, Justin Finney.
Yeah.
And all the other Justins in the audience. The main problem with the notion, this is words from the genius Justin Kermy. The main problem with the notion of self-defense is it imposes on justice. For everyone has a right to a fair trial. Therefore, using a firearm to defend oneself is not legal because if the attacker is killed, he or she is devoid of his or her rights. Okay. In addition, one's mental capacity is a major factor in deciding whether a man or a woman has the right to have a firearm. There are two reasons for ensuring mental capacity. First, one of the 5 aims is to ensure domestic tranquility, and there can be no tranquility if one does not have the capacity. Secondly, if one's brain is distorting his or her reality, if one's brain distorts his or her reality, then not one single liberal socialist could qualify for a gun, including our little friend Justin here. They do not have the proper reasoning, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's go back and talk about the self-defend, the right to self-defend. Now, according to the genius Justin Kermy, if you use a firearm to self-defend, all right, and the person who's attacking you dies, it is illegal. You have violated the law because the attacker has been, is now devoid of his or her right to a fair trial. Okay, all right. That assumes, number one, that the use of a firearm is, well, first of all, Justin does not seem to understand what to self-defend means. And he also doesn't understand that if you use a firearm in self-defense, that you are not shooting the person to murder them or to make them die. The fact that they die is simply a byproduct of the process. Now, many people are shot every single day in the United States of America by defenders, and they do not expire. Now, some do, and some don't. The fact of the matter is, whether or not they expire or whether they keep on breathing is immaterial. It's like our good friend Massad Ayoob. He made this famous, 30 years ago, whatever, when he started using the term shoot to live as opposed to shoot to kill. And in the gravest extreme, he talks about we don't shoot until the attacker is dead. We shoot the attacker until he no longer possesses the ability to threaten our lives. Now, as we talked about last week, it wasn't last week. It was just a couple days ago. Just a couple of days ago, the woman in Ohio, she fired a gun at a felonious attacker, and the attacker didn't die. He was struck by a bullet, but it was a good self-defense shooting because why? Well, because he stopped trying to make her dead. So it was a success. Now, if he would have expired, it would have been the same outcome. All right? Let's go ahead and sip a glass of water here because this next paragraph is going to make me want to punch puppies in the face. Yeah,
it's going to be an interesting thing here for you guys to, well, really for me, I'm going to be over here with the mute button ready.
You going to be ready for the deedle button?
Yeah.
You're going to... all right, so Justin obviously has no idea. This right here, remember when I said at the very beginning about the dangers of modern education? How many of you ever heard the term or the phrase that taking one semester of psychology in college is just enough to screw you up for the rest of your life? It's like, I took just enough psychology to screw me up for the rest of my life. This is a great example of how a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. All right, let's go ahead and let's continue this because I know that you have friends, neighbors, and relatives who will read things like this and they will glom onto it. They'll say, yeah, what he said. If you shoot someone with a gun and they die, well, then they've been denied their constitutional right to a fair trial. Therefore, you're wrong. Okay. Therefore, if we ponder and meditate on recent events in the news about guns, it would be obvious that the current state is incorrect. Well, yeah, of course. A gun for civilians is a weapon for a revolution, not for ordinary use. Please continue. The belief that a gun is a useful tool to protect one is counterintuitive because guns get into the hands of people who use them for horrible reasons, like the state, for instance. In addition, there are reasons why, Justin, you need to stay in New York in your safe space, far, far away from me, because it would be, if we ever confronted each other, you would leave crying. In addition, there are reasons why cops are trained to use a firearm in stressful situations. It is not to keep their mind at ease or anything of that sort, but to be able to fire accurately at the target in the correct location. It is immensely difficult to fire when under pressure. Ooh, thanks for that tip there, Justin. Moreover, one may argue that it is analogous in an analogous argument, and yes, it is because the United States government is lobbied not to study or fund research that observes the effects of guns.
This research has been done.
What? This cripples the chance of evaluating a proper policy to deal with gun violence. But there was one study by ABC which observed that using guns in a classroom, all participants perform poorly. Okay. Hey, Justin. All right. Justin, are you a police officer? Did you go to the police academy? Have you ever taken any professional training? I'm going to assume that based on the idiotic words that you've written, the answer is no. Yes, of course, it is difficult to use a firearm under a stressful environment or under direct pressure. Yes, it is. Now, it says, he didn't elaborate here, and I wonder if it was cut out or what, because he says, in addition, there are reasons why cops are trained to use stressful. It's not to keep their mind at ease or anything of the sort, but be able to fire accurately at the target in the correct location. So we're just left hanging here. Jared, and this is just a hypothesis, this is just a supposition based upon the sentence. Do you think that Justin believes that police officers are trained to use firearms so they can shoot people in the legs just to stop them?
I don't know.
Well, what are we to take from that sentence? To be able to fire accurately at the target in the correct location. Now, I'm assuming that he means location on the target, not like the physical location that they're at, like in the Walmart parking lot or something like that, or on, Fifth Avenue in New York City. I'm guessing he means on the body. It is immensely difficult to fire under pressure. Yes. And actually, Justin, you have not one single clue as to what the hell you're talking about. The reason that we train so diligently in the use of arms is because under the physiological stress, the adrenaline dump, and the stress that is produced by a life or death assault, it is difficult for the human being to function methodically or very accurately, I guess you would say. All right, I really hate to use cliches like loss of fine motor skills and lizard brain and so on and so forth, but the fact of the matter is this. Now, some people will say you shouldn't do certain things when it comes to using a firearm because you lose fine motor skills, which is true. an untrained person, when they receive the adrenaline dump, will lose their fine motor skills. However, it may be argued that pressing the trigger deliberately and straight to the rear without, well, causing the gun to spasm all over like you're shaking is a fine motor skill. Is it not, Jared? Would you not argue that same thing?
Yes, it is. I'm actually looking at the Wayback Machine for this page when it was the first published on August 20.
Oh, his part 1?
Yeah, no. It's this exact page on April 26th. It's actually on April 27th, 2016. And there is no change in the article. So I don't know why it says.
No, you know why? This is one of those stock pieces. This is you stupid peasants don't have the right to own and use guns to defend yourself. You think you do, but you're wrong, and here's why. So when you're the Huffington Post, every time a citizen uses a gun to defend themselves against a Democrat voter, a registered Democrat, what they do is they run this story. They run it out again so that it'll go to the top of the SEO, right? Because it's about guns and self-defense and yada, yada, yada. So a woman in Ohio uses a gun to stop a felon. So what does HuffPost do? They send this back out because they know that when people are searching self-defense, shooting, or whatever, this will go to the top. And we need to remind the peasants that they're all incompetent boobs and that they need to submit to the will of the state, because only the state. And you find it strange here that Justin's like, well, the Second Amendment does mean that you can stockpile guns, but the Second Amendment doesn't really mean that because it doesn't go into the mental state of the person. And there's no way that people can legally possess guns unless we first determine their mental state. Like I said, and whether or not, what does he say about reality? This is insane coming from a psychotic liberal. If one's brain is distorting his or her reality, they do not have the proper reasoning and deduction skills to use a firearm. You mean like if you're born with a penis but you self-identify as a woman? Would it be like that, Justin? Would it be like if you were born with a vagina but you feel that you're a man and you want to use the men's room? Is that like an alternate reality? Would that be a distorted reality? What do you think, Jared? Do you think
Yes.
Justin just described every psychotic liberal in the United States of America with that sentence? So, by his own reasoning and logic, not one liberal should be in possession of a firearm. Once again, and here we go. Once again, if there's an argument in the reasoning for this amendment, and that'd be Amendment 2, and others, one must filter it through the 5 aims of the USA and the Bill of Rights. This is to ensure that any argument can be answered avoiding a political divide. Okay, well, Justin, let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and hip you to this right here. A number 1, the biggest fallacy of this entire, and this is essentially how liberals think and how the left thinks. They're always more concerned with the supposed rights of the accused, right? Correct? The rights of the accused. So you say that you needed to use your gun to stop this man, but he has the right to a fair trial by his peers and blah, 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 blah. And like, okay. Whom is it that the left and people like Justin are never concerned with? Where in this article, Jared, did we see that Justin is very, very concerned with the right to stay alive of the victim of the crime? Where in here does it, Justin, he likes to point out the 5 aims to ensure domestic tranquility. Let's go ahead. I know what he's doing. He's reading the preamble of the United States Constitution. And I'll go ahead and read it to you guys because I know most of you went to public school in the last 20 years. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty. Now, Justin says that the preamble, the 5 aims of the preamble of the Constitution, that if we allow just any person to own a gun and then they go out and they shoot a person that's attacking them and that person dies, well, they've been denied the right to a fair trial. And we can't have domestic tranquility unless every single potential gun owner is examined by the state to determine their mental capacity. But let's say that you are on the other end, on the receiving end of a registered Democrat, that the registered Democrat is going to rob you, rape you, murder you, torture you. How can you ensure the blessings of liberty for yourself and your posterity if you allow a registered Democrat voter to rape you, to rob you, to beat you, to murder you? Where is the justice for the victim of the crime? You see, that's something that leftists like Justin here, they never learned that when they went to college in New York. They never learned that your mom, your sister, your wife, your daughter, that they have the right not to be raped by some monstrous Democrat voter. According to Justin here, if your wife, daughter, mom, girlfriend is about to be raped by some registered Democrat voter, then it's wrong for them to use a gun. And they shouldn't be allowed to use a gun because they're not trained like police officers are trained to shoot the target in the correct area or the correct location. Do you think he meant area, not location? Maybe he was thinking back to his real estate days, location. See, if your mom and dad, your retired parents are at home and 3 Democrats bust in their door and point guns in their faces and pistol whip them, demanding to know where the guns and the valuables and jewelry and stuff are, apparently Justin doesn't believe that your retired dad should be able to retrieve the revolver from the nightstand and shoot these bad people, because if he does, they could die. And if they die, then they've been denied the right to a fair trial. You see, Justin and the people at the Huffington Post editorial, they don't care that you're brutalized. They don't care that you're psychologically scarred for years, if not the rest of your life. They're not at all concerned about the rights of the citizen, about the rights of the people that are productive members of the United States of America. Their first aim is, they have 2 aims. Number 1, to support the right of the state to limit your freedoms, okay? And the second is to support the right of registered Democrat voters to rob, rape, and kill you. But not once in his entire diatribe here does he ever even consider the physical well-being or the mental well-being of the people that are on the receiving end of the criminal behavior or who are on the receiving end of government tyranny. Justin, you are a complete and total tool. You're a tool bag. You're a douche of the highest order. And I'm all done listening to your nonsense.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a free training video series called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. We want you to have access to this life-saving information. Get instant access now at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of those questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
you got no place to go. Who you gonna trust when trust is a must? You better roll with the rest of us. So pack your bags and all the faith you can, 'cause it's about ready to hit. The bang comes to ready. 2012.
All right, cats and kittens, it's time for a Student of the Gun homeroom, brought to you by our good friends at Crossbreed Holsters. Want to carry a gun comfortably each and every day? Well, go to crossbreedholsters.com. Now, today we're going to talk about self-defense knives, and why would you carry a knife for self-defense when you could carry a gun? Well, there's a couple of different reasons. Number one, knives never run out of ammunition, and knives never jam or malfunction or have stoppages. Okay. Knives can and are, well, they can be and are as effective at touching distance as firearms are, and in some cases they can be even more so. And you're like, oh, that's bull crap. Hear me out, freaks. When someone is punching, grabbing, touching you, when someone has you pressed up against a wall, when someone has you on the ground, when someone's wrestling with you or what have you, there are ways to use a knife or a bladed instrument more effectively, actually, than you could a firearm. And we did an entire program. I did one about 10 years ago called Mobility Kill. And it was about how to use a self-defense knife to stop a person from continuing to rape, rob, stab, kill, whatever you. Now, what we're going to be doing here in the very near future, and the reason I bring this up is because a real good friend of mine, a guy named Ralph Morose, and he was an active contributing gun writer in addition to being a police officer and an undercover narcotics officer and so forth. He's retired now, so I can say that. But Ralph is very big into using blades for personal defense in addition to guns and everything else. And Ralph has designed a very, very interesting knife, very, very interesting knife design. And I've got one of the prototypes, and I've been wearing it every single day. And we're going to be following up on that. But I want you to understand this. When it comes to self-defense, when it comes to justifiable self-defense, what is it based on, Jared? Is it based on the tool or the mindset?
The mindset.
Yes. Like if you're Justin, I can't remember the douche nozzle's last name, but I don't care. If you're Justin the douche nozzle from the Huffington Post, you think that that the tool is, well, if it's a this, it's okay. If it's a that, it's not okay. So if someone is trying to murder you, kidnap you, rape you, commit a forcible robbery against you, if I stop them by taking a number 2 pencil and jamming it in their eye, or I stop them by pulling out a Glock 19 and shooting them, which one is more justifiable? If I pick up a coffee cup off my desk and I smash them in the noggin and that stops them from harming me, is that more or less justifiable based on what I used? The tool, believe it or not, this from a legal standpoint, it doesn't matter. Now, people will try and say, if you use this, you're going to go to jail because your gun was this color or whatever. There's no legal precedent, okay? Believe me, I've studied it. Okay, it doesn't say in the Ohio Revised Code, well, it's a justifiable shooting unless the gun was black or unless the gun said, had the Punisher symbol on it. And then if it had the Punisher symbol on it, well, then you're going to prison for the rest of your life. Or if it was red or blue or yellow or green or whatever, like, well, it was justifiable shooting, but the gun was blue, and that makes it illegal. You're going to jail for the rest of your life. No, it doesn't. The object doesn't matter. So self-defense with a knife is no more or less legal or illegal than self-defense with a gun or a coffee cup or a beer bottle or whatever. It's based upon your mentality. And there are times, absolutely, when a knife is just as good, if not better, than a gun. Not always. Don't go crazy now. I'm not telling you to stop carrying guns. I'm telling you should carry guns. But there are times when a knife is as good or better of a choice. Now, I appreciate you guys listening all the way from Monday through Thursday. This is it. This is the last free one. This is the last bonus hour of the week. Tomorrow, we're going to be back tomorrow morning with a grad program bonus hour for those in the grad program. And something else that you get, Jared, I wanted to mention this, and I should have mentioned it. We destroy all of the ridiculous, retarded nonsense that Justin was spewing. And you know where we destroy it?
Where?
In the Armed Living DVD.
Oh, you're right.
The Armed Living DVD, any graduate of the Armed Living DVD program could destroy a moron like Justin in a one-on-one conversation. If you sign up for the grad program, you follow the directions that Jared has put forth. Isn't that not correct, Jared?
Yes.
You gave them very simple to follow directions. You sign up for the grad program, you will get access to the Armed Living DVD for the price of admission.
Yes. You just go to studentguidenradio.com, follow the directions, and become a grad program member. If you can follow those directions, then you will be rewarded.
And when I say DVD, I'm talking about digital video, okay? The video. You can watch it on your computer, your phone, your iPad, whatever.
If you don't want to become a grad program member, you can get it from the store, studentofthegungear.com.
Yeah,
you just have to pay a little more.
Just purchase it. But if you're a grad program member, you get it, you watch it, you learn it, you know it. All right, kids, that's it for this week. If you're a public listener, thank you very much for being out there in the student of the gun world, and I apologize to every dedicated Justin who's listening to me today. Remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.